we are in the midst of just an incredibly well-funded anti-union campaign happening at KCBG. I don't know how much money Amazon's spending on this anti-union stuff, but it feels like the majority of it is at our facility.
We got another caller on the line. This one from a 352 area code. 352 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, how you doing? Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Hey, this is Brandon Hill. I've called in at least once, maybe twice before. I'm an Amazon worker at KCBG in northern Kentucky, organizing with the Teamsters.
Brandon, thank you for calling in with Amazon in Kentucky, organizing with the Teamsters Union. Really exciting time to be a Teamster organizing at Amazon, I think. What are your coworkers saying about everything that's going on?
Well, what we're doing out here, isn't a full-fledged strike at KCVG. We just have like a picket extension at one of the local Amazon facilities called CVG2. And so basically what's going on out here is folks are excited. And, we got some folks on the picket line. Our part of the picket line ended at 6 a.m. this morning, but we've had people for the past couple of days out there nonstop, 24 hours. I went out there a few times myself and hung out for a few hours, managed to get some folks from the community come out there to support us. Local DSA chapter has been very supportive, and they've been folks have been coming out there and joining us on the line and sending food, pizzas, that kind of stuff. As far as the workers are concerned, well, I gotta be honest with you guys. It's kind of mixed, there are people who are participating, who are, they're very, very excited about this, who've been calling for something like this for a while, because we've been organizing at KCBG for over 2 years now. And, we've, a lot of things have changed. Originally we were ALU, now we're Teamsters. But, I guess organizers kind of have a term for our turf, is whatever they call it. They call it burnt turf. And there's just a lot of folks around here who are, who've been definitely in the organizing for a couple years now. And we are in the midst of just an incredibly well-funded anti-union campaign happening at KCBG. I don't know how much exactly, how much money Amazon's spending on this anti-union stuff, but it feels like the majority of it is at our facility. So you got some folks there who are, frankly, quite a number of folks I talked to personally who are afraid to come out and, very hesitant to side cards because of that. So to be honest with you guys, the feelings were mixed, because we do have some people who, like me, who've been working there for a while, involved with this organizing for a while, and have been pushing for, some kind of action, and, willing to do whatever we can, to support other Amazon workers on strike and taking action and stuff. But then, you got the people around here who, they want the benefits. They know a union is good for them. They know a union would make our job better, but they're just afraid of losing their jobs, and they don't really want to stick their necks out. So
right,
yeah.
So to what extent?
Yeah, just saying
So to what extent are the folks on the organizing committee and people that have signed cards at your facility, like, have you actually, you've extended the picket line and so to KCVG 2, but it sounds like not KCVG 1, which is where the organizing has been for the last 2 years. So do you have a picket line at all at the facility where you're at right now?
Yeah. So I work at KCBG, which is the biggest facility there at the airport, and the other location that this was happening at was called CVG2. And no, unfortunately, we don't have one at KCBG. We ended up just doing one at CVG2. And, it was a little smaller than I'd like to, but yeah, we we're not able to get one up at CBG. I guess the thought behind that was that or at KCBG, the thought behind that was that CBG2, there's a lot of UPS drivers who deal with our returns at our facility at KCBG, and they bring them over to CBG2. So I guess the thought was to, you know, have those guys turn around and not have them drop off their stuff, which we were successful in doing. But unfortunately, you know, the Amazon drivers, the Tom team, as they call them, who drive the trucks out there, they're not unionized. So,
right.
you know, they were going through. We did have some support from those guys, though. You know, they were supportive of what we were doing, but then same time, you know, they were driving through. So.
Right. Did y'all make any contact? Like, were you able to get maybe hand off some flyers and have people say they'd give you a call or take down any numbers or anything like that?
Well, we definitely had some people who were interested, who were coming out of CBG2 and you know, going to their cars. It's a 3-shift place too, so we had people coming out all, you know, hours almost. Unfortunately, what I was told, you know, by the you know, the guys in charge here, the Teamsters organizers, that we had very strict guidelines we had to follow. You know, they said you know, there were all these legal reasons why, you know, we couldn't like do what we kind of normally do, which is, you know, be loud and aggressive and try to engage the workers and stuff like that. They told us to really just take a step back from that. And basically, like, you know, we were just an extension of what was going on elsewhere.
Right.
And yeah, they said that, you know, we can only engage so much with the workers. So we, you know, held out flyers when we could, and then talked when people were willing to. So.
Gotcha. Well, Brandon, appreciate the call and the report from over there in Kentucky. How far away is Whitesburg from where you're at near Cincinnati? Is that a long way away?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, I know we had a couple locations, a few locations here in Kentucky where we had folks, you know, out on the line, picket extensions too. So that was really cool to see. Really appreciative. And like I said, I really want to give a shout out too to the local DSA chapter, the Cincinnati Metro Northern Kentucky DSA chapter, because those folks have been very supportive. They came out on that line. They brought us food. They're willing to take action with us in the future. And yeah, I'm not sure if you folks are aware, but you know, I know DSA is definitely prioritizing the Amazon organizing, and we're doing that locally. So yeah, it just I don't know. It's you know, this is one of those things, man, where I feel like a lot of us folks, you know, the Amazon workers who've been involved with the organizing for a minute, we definitely feel like if we'd had prior warning, you know, we'd able to get prior warning, we could have got a bunch of people out there, but we only had a few days, you know, that we even knew what exactly was going to be the plan. So, you know, weren't able to get a whole lot of people out there.
Yeah, I asked about Whitesburg because that's one of the places that we're on the radio, Whitesburg, Kentucky. It looks like it's about a 4-hour drive, so it's a little bit away. So y'all aren't going to be able to, your people wouldn't hear this on the radio. But yeah, we had somebody in the chat ask if Amazon is delaying packages due to the strike, and Brandon, you can answer this in a different way if I'm incorrect, but my understanding is basically no, and that the reason, like you said, for the picket extensions is basically to turn around union shipping companies like UPS, right? So like if UPS was making a delivery to an Amazon facility and there was a picket line, the UPS driver would turn around and not make the delivery, which would then, you know, kind of delay Amazon's Amazon shipping generally, but Amazon is not actually delaying shipping due to, or you know, they're doing everything that they can to kind of get stuff out. But at a couple of the actual struck locations, some of the shipping is delayed because of the strike, and then at some of the places where picket lines have been extended, union shipping has been turned around. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, the other part of this was to, you know, show the Amazon workers who are on the inside that are hesitant about signing cards and joining up that, yeah, there are people out here in the community that do support them. There are, you know, unionized workers who are willing to come out and, you know, take action and show them, what's going on here. So I think also, it was done for that, but it was also to, get the attention out there and show people that we are capable of doing something and just making our presence known.
Yeah. Brandon, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Keep us updated.
Thank you, guys. Solidarity.
Yep. We have a question in the chat from Justin. What is it Amazon workers even want? And right now, the demand of the strike, the reason for the strike, they want a lot of things, but the reason for this strike specifically is that Amazon is not even bargaining with its workers where they have unionized. There are 7 facilities at which Amazon workers are striking now, and they're striking because they have unionized, and Amazon is refusing to bargain. And so they're not even striking yet over wages and working conditions. They have certain demands and things that they're wanting to be able to win at the bargaining table. But right now, the strike is just about trying to pressure Amazon to get to the bargaining table. Of course, once they get to the bargaining table, they have things that they want, like any other union negotiating team. They're going to want higher wages. They want better working conditions. They want protections against the speed up. They want just cause disciplinary measures, not being able to be fired for any reason or no reason at all. They want better health care. They want better retirement. I think presumably they would want to try to bring Amazon into the Teamsters multi-employer pension plans and stuff like that. So there you go. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. We got another caller on the line. This caller is from a 714 area code. 714 area code. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Buenos dias, buenas tardes, comrades. Comrade Jake, Comrade Adam. It's been a long time. Jose Francisco Negrete from Local 952 and from Teamster Mobilized out here in the happiest place on earth. Well,
thanks for giving us a call, Jose.
DAX5 over there in City of Industries. I was the happiest place on earth because it was a picking line and it was pretty cool. I want to give a shout out to all those Amazon DSPs out there, and DAX5. It's a tongue twister. They're holding it down. They were telling me that yesterday Amazon that DSP managers kind of weasel their way into the drivers to make the drivers go a little bit earlier, and they didn't catch it. So, but today they were out there at 5 a.m. strong, holding down the line. I didn't get there till 6:30ish. I got there to the line. I got there a little bit late. I didn't know they were going to go that early. I thought it was going to start at 6, but they started at 5, holding down the line. They're still out there. I just want to give a shout out to them. And that DAX5 facility, it's a pretty big facility. It reminds me of a UPS hub where you have dock doors for outbound trailers to come in to unload, and there's 8 DSPs in there. The biggest one has 150 drivers, and then there's a Amazon sortation center, which is like maybe a mile to a mile and a half at the most away, so it's very, very close. I also want to say thank you, gracias to the DSA chapters out here in Southern California, PSL, Peace and Freedom Party, and other organizations too that see. I think there's CPA, the Communist Party of America, I think they're called. I saw some comrades out there too. So there's community support out there in the City of Industry. So it's a cool thing. But what's kind of disgusting that we're seeing right now is just Thursday we saw Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Jeff Bezos have dinner. So Jeff Bezos already weaseling his way into Donald Trump, and I'm sure organizing was one of the subjects probably discussed in that dinner, and then we also saw too that the federal the bill to fund the government, federal funding bill, that was first rejected because Elon Musk told Trump it's not a good thing. You're seeing all these you're actually seeing the new Gilded Age. You know, we're seeing these oligarchs, the Musk, the Bezos, the Zuckerbergs. They're having control of government. You know, and yes, we don't have the money as these oligarchs have. We don't have the resource, but what we have is we have each other. We have the community, and all of us together, we could fight. I mean, there's going to be some dark days, but we could fight, and we could stand up, we could win. And you know, there's other Amazon locations in Southern California are striking. The KSPD, which is the biggest Amazon airport out here in the West Coast, they're going to go on strike eventually. I think it's either today or tomorrow, but they're going on soon too. So it's a good thing, you know, that I'm seeing right here, you know. But we just can't lose the fact that, you know, we try to, you know, say that we want to be bipartisan and work with as many politicians as we can. But you have to understand that you have oligarchs that are shaping our federal government. You know, this is probably the most richest administration and cabinet that's ever been in office that's going to come in with the president elect. So you must understand that money is going to play a big factor in this, and we do not have the money. You know, we have an oligarch that boasts that he wants to be the first trillionaire,
Yeah.
you know, and our GSP comrades out here in Southern California that make $21.75. You know, they're not being greedy. They're not asking for much. You know, $21.75 to live out here in Southern California is way too high. You know, I think they should be making $50 or probably more. You know, because if a UPS driver could buy a home, have some toys for them, and raise a family and provide for their family, a DSP Amazon driver should as well. You know, I'm proud that some of my Teamster mobilized comrades have been in the picking line. You know, I encourage them to keep on being in those picking lines. You know, because our Amazon brothers and sisters, our comrades, they need us for our support, to be there with them, to stand in solidarity, shoulder to shoulder. You know, that's what we're doing. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad that Comrade Hill spoke about KCVG and VCG as well. You know, I wish there were some other Amazon individuals that will call in, and so we could hear their stories and why they are striking, why they want to unionize. You know, so I want to say gracias to all of them out there, and to the mail carriers. I stand in solidarity with you. You know, if I know about when they talk about a historic contract, you know, so they're standing up for what they believe and what they think is dignified and respectable. You know, to all the comrades out there, if you're close to a DSP center or DSP Amazon facility, or Amazon warehouse that's striking, I encourage you all to please join the picking line. If it's for 1 hour, that's 1 hour that those DSP drivers, Amazon workers, are going to be appreciative. Thank you, gentlemen, for letting me speak. And an injury to one is an injury to all. Gracias.
All right. Thanks, Jose. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Adam, did you have any other thoughts about the mail or Amazon before we talk about the next segment?
Yeah, I appreciate the calls, and I really appreciate, you know, what's happening with Amazon, because a strike weapon is really important. It's arguably the most important, you know, mass weapon, mass tool that we have to push back against the oligarchy that Jose was describing and talking about. So, you know, to see strike action happening is always inspiring. It's difficult. It's not an easy thing to take on. And, you know, Brandon described some of the difficulties that they're encountering just, you know, in a practical sense. You know, to include the fierce opposition of this company. And, you know, that's something that we're dealing with across the South in particular, but everywhere, is, you know, this fierce opposition from companies. They are willing to break the law. And that's when the law isn't already on their side. And so it's a really difficult position to be in. And the strike is going to be really, really important for us to hold on to what we have, much less actually make gains over the next few years. It's going to be really important that we can organize collectively and draw in community support, draw in cross-union support. So those were some things I heard in those calls as well that I think is important to really recognize. For these strikes to be successful, for new organizing to be successful, we have to have allies in the community. We have to have relationships in the community, and we have to have relationships with other unions, and unions have to show up for each other. That's something that doesn't always happen and hasn't always happened, and at least not in a sufficient way. But we need locals across industries really collaborating and thinking big picture. How do we grow this movement? How do we actually grow a labor movement that can win big? Because we are down to 10% density at this point. It's going to be really difficult for us to make gains and actually win for our members, win better lives for our members and their families when we're at 10% density. So utilizing the strike and investing in new organizing, I think, is going to be really critical for the days and years ahead. And I think, to do that successfully, we've got to build coalitions in the community and leverage the relationships that we have as working people in our communities, and find those leaders, find the leaders that we need to be talking to, the leaders that we need, in our committees. And so I think there's just a lot of work to be done there, but I applaud the Teamsters for taking action. It's a shame to have to strike just to get a company to follow the law. But that's where we're at in this country.
Right. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.